This video is sponsored by G2A. Use cashback code DORON for 3% off on Warcraft products. Hello guys, this is Doronsmovies, and today I will be talking about the Goblins and how powerful they are, covering their history, culture, and characteristics. So, without further ado, let's get into the lore. Many millennia ago, goblins used to be a small, primitive native race that roamed around the forests of Ulduar. At the time, the keeper Mimiron had discovered the ore kaja'mite and used it to experiment on various races. When goblins were exposed to kaja'mite, they transformed into a new, highly intelligent race. After that, it is unclear what had happened, but we have seen them helping Deathwing during the War of the Ancients. However, when the Great Sundering split the world apart, the race was cut from their supply of the ore, and not long after that, they lost their intelligence and other benefits. The goblins would retreat to Kezan and would completely change without kaja'mite. Unfortunately, the Zandalari, who were also stuck on an island close to them, had discovered the goblins, and initially they just mined kaja'mite and even paid the goblins to work for them, but that would soon change. Realizing how much kaja'mite there is on Kezan, they just enslaved the humanoid race and forced them to dig for thousands of years. Over time, the workers would inhale the dust of the ore, and it started to reignite their ancient intelligence. They plotted a rebellion, and about 150 years ago, they were armed with technology trolls couldn't even imagine. The Zandalari were driven out, their mining operation failed, and the survivors fled. Goblins would finally be free, soon splitting into groups known as cartels. These cartels would not exactly be on friendly terms and would even battle each other, but over time those battles evolved into economy wars. Kaja'mite ran low, and the goblin inventions started to become more and more unreliable. As a result, they turned to trade and turned Kezan into a mercantile city-state. Throughout the years, they would join everyone and anyone from the Horde to the Horde, and to pretty much anyone offering them money. For a long time, most of the goblins were neutral, and they worked for anyone they could profit from. Now, in Cataclysm, as Deathwing caused a disaster and Mount Kajaro erupted, they were forced to flee Kezan. After enslaving their own people and then freeing them, the Bilgewater Cartel joined the Horde. Since then, they have been a significant addition to the faction and surprisingly loyal, at least as much as the goblin can be. In Battle for Azeroth, they had discovered kaja'mite within the Zandalar Isle and are essentially supporting the Horde mainly through the economy, oil rigs, mining operations, and machines. So, with this very quick overview of the history, how powerful are the goblins and what are their characteristics? Goblins average around 4 feet in height, so around 120 centimeters, being significantly smaller than almost all other races. A big difference is also in gender height, as females can actually be taller than the males. Their build is slight and lean, but they are actually decently muscular and very strong for their size. Not as stocky or as muscular as the dwarves, for example, but they can hold their own. They possess 3 fingers and 1 thumb on each hand, 4 toes per foot, have sharp teeth and pointed nails. Their skin is mainly green and their blood is also green. Physically, they aren't really nothing impressive, which is why they were enslaved for a very long time. However, their strength comes with intelligence, and that is what freed them and made them prosperous. Through kaja'mite, their intellect increased and they became a technologically advanced race. However, as opposed to the gnomes, their inventions are very unique and some would even say primitive as opposed to the more sophisticated gnomish inventions. Goblins' main technological focus is on war machines, explosives, weaponry, and rockets, but they can also provide logistical and architectural support, building goblin shredders, buildings, zeppelins, and even entire towns in a box. While they are advanced, a signature of their technology is unfortunately its unreliability, meaning that premature explosions, breakdowns, etc. can occur quite often. Still, all of this makes them incredibly useful. Goblins have built ships, zeppelins, flying shredders, airplanes, helicopters, and everything in between. This significantly makes up for their lack of physical strength, as an intelligent goblin in a massive shredder machine is going to be more powerful than the naturally strong tauren. In terms of culture, they are very unique, but not exactly in a good way. They are hardly unified, they battle against each other, they are not really loyal, and are greedy on average. While there are honorable goblins, honor is not exactly a big virtue within their society. Instead, the focus is on ruthless acquisition of profit and wealth and greed. Goblins have been known to betray their companions and to defect to the enemy if more material gain was available. However, that isn't always the case, as the goblins that rebuilt Orgrimmar and freed Thunderbluff did it for more than just profit and personal gains. When it comes to racial mounts, they generally utilize machines such as the trike and the helicopter. However, they're also known to use machines such as the shredders and even humanoids like hobgoblins and ogres. As only some goblins are a part of the Horde, they're not incredibly high numbers, but they definitely make up for it with their inventions and contributions. As small but intelligent, goblins have been a critical part of the Horde, and without them many operations and campaigns would never even be possible, as their logistical and mechanical support was of significant relevance. As one of the oldest humanoids on Azeroth, goblins are one intelligent, greedy, but powerful race. Thank you for watching. Check out how powerful are dwarves by clicking on the screen and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps out and keeps all the content going. See you next time.